Hello everyone, welcome to a small devlog for the game Nomad that I've been producing over the past, arguably, like about a year and a half or so, but more intensively over the last month or two. This is a game that's heavily inspired by the newest Doom game, and I would like to try to recreate it, but add some of my own twists and essentially just kind of change it up a little bit, make something that's truly my own. So you'll see a lot of those influences come out as I demo this for you. But basically, we're at a really early stage right here, and a lot of the framework is going in, so some things are just not complete as I'm working on this alone. You can see that this main menu here is really primitive right now, and it handles what it's supposed to do, but there's a lot more I want to add. I want to have a nicer scene here, but that does not matter right now. I'll just show you how the game actually works. So basically, you have your character, and the game's a first-person shooter, very similar to Doom. The AI is very basic right now, but you can basically just be in a arena like here, and you just fight to survive. And right now, it just stays that way. There is no objectives to currently fulfill, but ideally, you're able to have a little bit of enjoyment out of this so far. I would like to eventually get some objective play, some better map design in, but I'm working on mechanics first and getting those all set. So what do we have for mechanics? Well, first of all, let me go to the pause menu and get into my loadout. These are functions. Functions are, to put it very simply, a superpower. So essentially, I could click this slot and it is now selected. We're going to have some better UI for that in the future. I want to have healing. I want to have blast. And I want to have reflexes. These are probably some of the most basic things I can throw on right now, and some of them are more self-explanatory than others. I'll return to the menu, from the menu to the game, and now you can see in the bottom, above that big yellow bar, we have all the selections. So healing does exactly what it says on the tin. I can heal back my health at a steady rate for a cost of my resource bar. Mind you, right now, the resource bar is a lot easier to maintain since I have a regen rate at a higher rate so that you can test properly. It will not be this quick in final builds of the game. Reflexes is a short amount of time where you can go into slow-mo and help you position yourself better. And you also move a little bit faster during this time than your enemies, so you are able to dodge attacks that would otherwise be very difficult to miss. Blast is probably one of the most fun things in the game, although it does need some more further tweaking because I am not entirely happy with how it works yet. But if you have a bunch of enemies ganging up on you, you can just push them out of the way. Depending on where the blast shot lands, enemies will go into a different direction. You can also use it to reposition yourself during the gunfight and kill out enemies that you otherwise could not reach, or to set them up into situations where they have no chance of beating you, like such. So those are those three. Right now you can switch these out on the fly. So if I wanted to replace reflexes with dash, I can click the slot and then click the function I want. There will be many more functions added. The current functions will change and improve over time, and they will also all look more visually appealing as I get around to it. So the only ones that are working are mostly these four up here. These are newer / more difficult ones for me to code right now, so currently they don't work well enough for me to showcase them right now. Dash is basically what it says on the tin. Still working on it, but it allows you to propel yourself forward a certain distance. Works best on flat ground. I would like to have it work a little bit better on inclines. You'll see that if I come back here, sometimes it doesn't work. That worked much better than I expected it to, so that's great. There's also going to be an information page here. I'm trying to figure out some of the code relevant to changing this text, so once I get to that, there will be a lot more information available on the game and all the weapons right here. So that's functions. Functions are able to be used only when you are not shooting your gun. the right mouse button will enable it, and this is when you are able to use them. Otherwise, you use your gun. So this is the shotgun. This is your really basic power weapon. It's made for high damage up close, but it's also capable of taking people out at range. Some of the enemies back there are very low health, and I'm able to down them with a couple of shots, but the spread is large enough that it'll be very difficult to land multiple shots on a foe at range. So you want to get up close, and you can kill most enemies in one shot unless they are larger, like this guy right here. Next we have the combat rifle. This is made for a more consistent damage at really any range you want. It's not particularly great at close quarters because it does have a lower damage per second, but it's very capable of landing shots at longer range with ease, and it can be modified for a variety of scenarios. Lastly, we have this launcher. It's due for a major overhaul, so we're not going to talk too much about this, but I would like to introduce to you one mechanic of it. We're going to ignore that fact. I died right there. So, the launcher, when it shoots out, has an orb that consistently grows in size. Once it lands, it deals a massive amount of damage depending on how long it's been in the air. This might change to a function in the future. So you can see, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It does enough to kill some of the more squishy targets, but for all other targets, it takes a little bit more to kill them. That's the launcher. It's due for a major overhaul, so we'll check in on that another time. One thing I've gone over so far is weapon mods. Weapon mods are changes that drastically change, for lack of a better term, how your weapon will function. So the shotgun has 2 mods available right now, and there's a possibility for more in the future once I get around to designing more. This is Flak Shot. Upon shooting it, it unleashes a bunch of bouncing bullets that will deal a substantial amount of damage to anything it touches. They bounce around for about 5 seconds, and anything they kill, it'll bounce off of. The difference between this and the normal shot is that this bounces, and it also does not get affected by spread as much. There is some gravity applied to these shots, and it also costs 3 ammo to fire. Now to change it up with the R button, we have the explosive shots. These are still a work in progress, but basically you fire these out and you get an explosion from them. They are primed once they connect with any target. Ideally, they should be able to connect to targets attached to them and explode based off of them. But there needs to be some more work in this. It's horribly inconsistent right now. Next, we have the rifle. So the rifle has also 2 mods available for it. One of them is the Gatling. So here's the normal fire. It's pretty consistent. It's still a little bit slow if you're swarmed. So we switch over to the Gatling, and now we unleash an absolute fury. You lose a little bit of damage from using this, but your fire rate is exponentially increased. You also have to deal with some recoil, and your ammo consumption is a little bit higher than usual. It doesn't cost any additional ammo to fire this, but it will drain your ammo faster than the default firing will. Lastly, we have the explosive ammo for this. It deals massive damage in a smaller radius, also costs 20 ammo to fire, and this is your ideal way of clearing out massive groups of enemies. However, if you fire this too much, you're going to go through ammo very, very quickly. You notice I can't fire already, but I have killed a lot of enemies. So, you can see the gist of how this works. We have one more map that I can show. Map design has been on the back burner this entire time, so we're going to hopefully have something better to show soon. This is testing a couple of other mechanics, such as a jump pad right here that only the player can use. Placed in a couple of different areas. Nothing is final in this level design. I'm taking a step back and probably am going to be redesigning some of this. But The environment will hopefully be alive like this fan right here that demonstrates. So you can see the shadows are moving on the ground. I would like to have more of this in a updated version of the game. So this map will be worked on. It'll be tweaked to further nail down a level design that works better for this game. And ideally, it becomes a lot of fun, and it has its own unique identity from Doom and other Doom-like games. Anyway, thank you to all my patrons who have so far supported me in creating this game. It is a passion project that I work on in my free time, and it's a lot of fun to make. But it also does require a lot of work as I handle everything on my own. Right now, I'm working on largely framework for this, and over time, it will become nicer looking. I am programming the mechanics in first, being the graphics designer second. You can look forward to more weapons, more mods, more functions, more enemies, better maps, and certainly a lot more to do. The framework is nearing completion, but that does not mean that anything is done in this game. Everything is always subject to change. Thank you for your interest in this project. I hope you enjoy it. Download links are being periodically placed onto my Patreon page. There will be a link in the description of this video. You can pledge $5 or more to have instant access to whichever build I have uploaded. The current build I'm playing should be uploaded soon. And thank you for your interest. If you have any feedback, you are more than welcome to let me know. Take care.